support of energy as it gets down here in the final stretch?
I think so. I mean, I think it's a year-round topic, but it's funny the way it's just built and built and built and built. And it's funny, too, the way I've seen this story sort of spool out. On the one hand, we're talking about what the president said and what it means. On the other hand, we're talking about what the president meant to say and what we think he thought he meant. And that's fascinating to me. I've just personally, I kind of reject the whole idea that we need to look into a magic 8-ball to figure it out. He's the leader of the free world. He spoke clearly. He said exactly what it seems like he believes, and what he said is totally consistent with everything I've seen him done in this space. So yeah, we're at a moment where fossil fuels are either the enemy and the end of the world is either existential in 12 years hence, or it's not.
Yeah, you make your living communicating, and you're really good at it.
No, thanks.
But it seems like there's a cleanup in aisle 4 just about every other day. And what the White House says is don't believe your lying ears, because what you heard is not actually what you heard, time and again.
I mean, yes. And why would we do anything other than nod and say, no, sorry, he's the leader of the free world. He's our president. He said it. We don't need interpretive dance or hand puppets or some other thing to break through the confusion of a couple of very simple, direct sentences. We know where the man is coming from. God bless. It's okay. Opinions vary. But the issue of our times, I think, is going to be true or false. Fossil fuels are our enemy. That's how the table's been set. It's pretty clear.
What have the practical effects been, or the consequence have been, of the Keystone Pipeline decision on President Biden's first day in office, canceling the Keystone Pipeline? And that portended a lot of other energy-related jobs that never materialized. And remember when John Kerry said, well, they can go get a green job, and that didn't materialize either.
Or get an electric car, or eat Chef Boyardee. It is a theme, right? Do you know Selena Zito? Do you guys read her stuff?
Yes, we had her on yesterday.
Oh, she wrote the answer to your question, right? This morning in her column, she talks about the 4 moments that define the last 2 years. The first was cancellation of Keystone. The second, I believe, had to do with 13 empty chairs in the aftermath of the Afghan withdrawal, right? And I forget what the third one was, but the fourth one was the picture last week of the coal miner sitting there at the, it's like,
basketball game.
It's all of those moments together. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And in pictures, you can see again and again, I think, where people look at a thing, hear a different thing, and are left to conclude yet another thing.
There are those who believe that, and I think Brit Hume is one of them, that this last 2 years started going downhill when Democrats won both Senate seats in Georgia. Because once that happened, all the ropes were off. You could not restrain this government led by one party.
I guess, yeah. I mean, Britt's a smart guy, and I don't watch it nearly as closely as you guys do. But that's the human condition, right? We need parameters. Like sometimes the blank page is the scariest thing in the world. You need to know where the lines are. You need the map. The old maps that used to say, here be dragons, right, outside the perimeter. And yeah, I think that's what he was getting at. It's like, okay, blank slate. The world's your oyster. Now what?
Well, now there is going to be change. I mean, that's one thing that everybody needs to know as you watch today. Just know that tomorrow Washington is different. Because everyone agrees that at least the House is going to go to the Republicans. And maybe from some of the people that do the dirty jobs that we desperately need across the country, they'll have a little hope as well.
I would just say, too, thank you. But it's not just labor and management. It's energy. It's all of us.
That's all of it, indeed. Thank you so much, Mike Rowe. Thank you, everybody, for being with us. Harris Faulkner is up next. Here she is.